Since the launch of the iPhone 16e, I have been a huge fan of this device. Coming from the mini lineup, this was the next best upgrade I saw for myself. And just like I did a video for the mini and the iPhone Air for users that I know came to my channel because of these devices, I wanted to do a direct comparison of the 16e and the iPhone Air. So if you are looking to go to the iPhone Air from a 16e, I want to give you all the info that you should have to make a well-informed decision for yourself. The very first place I want to start is with the design of both of these devices. And honestly, they're both beautiful in their own way, simply because they have very simple designs. And I don't know about you, but what actually attracted me to Apple in the first place, like when I got my first Apple product, which was a MacBook, was the simplicity of design. And then what kept me with Apple was the actual experience. So not only do both of these devices have a wonderful way of just being simple and just looking so good, but they also come with that experience. On the iPhone 16e, you have an aluminum body and you've got a boxier design, whereas the iPhone Air just basically shrinks everything down. It's a very slim and elegant design with titanium on the edges, and it's rounded off so nicely. It really complements the device when you hold it in your hand. The major difference that's going to be with the design is right up here at the top. The iPhone Air has this big bump that's simply because they made this so thin, they moved everything into this area right here. And that is just something that you got to appreciate with the engineering of this device. But honestly, if I had to pick one winner of design and I wasn't taking into account the fact that the Air has more of a elegant and premium feel to it, I like the simple design of the iPhone 16e. Now you flip these devices over and get one look at each of the displays and immediately you will see the difference between the two. Not only in terms of the quality of display, but also the size of the display. Making this taller at 6.5 inches, this just gives you a very nice and large display, all while retaining a weight difference of only 2 grams between the two devices. This is actually 2 grams lighter despite being a larger device, which adds to the overall experience of just how these devices handle in the hand. Now, with both of these, it's not only the size of the display, but it's also the quality of the display and the fact that this is packing a much nicer display with that ProMotion technology that basically was reserved for the Pro iPhones up until this year. Now, what I will say is that did I ever mind the lower refresh rate of the iPhone 16e? Not one bit. I didn't even let it become a factor in my decision of whether or not I would want to buy the phone. This is why I love this device. But if I now like turning it on after so many days and actually using it, I can notice that difference right away. So what I will say to you is that if you're on a device that has a 60 hertz display, you're not going to notice it. And where you really notice it is when you go to do things like gaming. But if that's something that doesn't matter to you, it's not that big of a deal. Another display difference between both of these devices is going to be just how bright they get, whether that's going to be inside or outside. Inside, the iPhone Air will do 1,000 nits max, and then outdoors, it will do 3,000 nits max. Whereas the iPhone 16e inside is going to do 800 and then outside 1,200. And I think here, inside is not that big of a difference, but outdoors, if you were to just look at both of these displays, the iPhone Air is going to take the crown every time simply because it's just a brighter, more beautiful display. So if you are looking at display, then the iPhone Air definitely takes the crown in that department. Now, while we're at the front, if we look up top to where the cameras are, that's another major change between these two devices, simply because these new devices got that square camera sensor, which allows you to hold the device vertically when you are taking a selfie. And you can even record in landscape, you can take photos in landscape, and it also has center stage. So that's going to be helpful when you have two people on a video call next to each other. So it's going to get both of the people into the frame. So that is something that you're lacking here And overall, the quality of the front camera is a lot better. So this was a huge upgrade across the board for all the iPhone 17 models. So if that is something that you're looking to upgrade, then I would make an emphasis for that front camera. Now, at the rear, both of these devices have one single great camera. I don't want to say that the 16E is a slouch in any way, simply because when I went to my Japan trip, I took a lot of amazing photos, a lot of great videos with this device. The only place that I think it really lacks is with the stabilization when it comes to video. And for me, honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal because I made videos on this channel for like 3 years with the iPhone that I always had. So because I was aware of just like how I want to like really slowly move the phone and handle it so that stabilization isn't an issue, that is just me. For the average user, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but for the average user, you are probably just going to use the camera, open it up, and just go about your day, right? So that is something to consider because this does have that added stabilization and it makes all the difference. Now, overall, the camera system of the iPhone Air is more superior. That is just fact. And if you are looking for the best camera, the best single camera, then the iPhone Air is going to be your answer. So now I want to move to battery and efficiency with both of these devices. One thing, if you saw my iPhone 16e reviews, I was really pleased with the performance of Apple's C1 chip, simply because while we were in Japan, so many places where we don't, where like my wife didn't have service on her 16 Pro, this had service. And that was just crazy to me. At first, I just thought that, oh, maybe it's just by chance, but it happened again and again. And I'll give you another example. Now, here you have the C1X, which is basically the next iteration of the C1 chip that was here. And this spot that I sit in right now, this is like a dead spot in our house. And if I bring out the Pro, which I'll show you by adding some B-roll into this video, but if I bring out the Pro, which has the Qualcomm, and I put it next to the iPhone Air or the iPhone 16e, in this dead spot, this is the only one that's going to get service. And this is also the only one that's going to get service and a good, reliable connection. So I've been saying this for some time now. Apple is really doing a great job with their own chips. And you wait until they make it to the Pro phones and then everybody will be raving about their efficiency and how great the chip is. Right now, they are in like the models that most people don't even understand, like the 16e, like the iPhone Air. But once they make it to the mainstream models, everybody will understand how the efficiency of Apple's own cellular modem is really great for battery life. And also, it's great for overall connectivity. Now, one knock that you'll see on both of these is that they don't have 5G millimeter wave. Deep breath in, deep breath out. 5G millimeter wave is not available in most places. I had a 13 mini. I live right outside of Washington, D.C. So it's not like I'm out in the jungle to where, I wouldn't have access to 5G millimeter wave. There are spots inside of DC where you get that like ultra fast speed. Like if we were looking at it on the map, they're like little tiny spots where you get that like super fast connection. So to me, it is just irrelevant. I didn't have any success with it on a 13 mini. I tested the 14 Pro Max, the 15 Pro Max, the 16 Pro Max, the 16 Pro. On none of these devices was 5G millimeter wave the edge that I needed to be like, oh my God, I have to have one of these devices that has 5G millimeter wave. So this is one of those things that I need you to understand that when you see it on paper, it might be like, oh wait, I don't have like 5G millimeter. It is irrelevant. The last thing I want to add to like the battery side of things is that when you go on a vacation, it doesn't matter if you have a 17 Pro, if you have a Pro Max device, or you have a 16e or a 13 mini. It does not matter. You're gonna need to bring a MagSafe battery pack, hence why I always keep one in one of my bags this is my little tech pouch, and these days in here, I have the iPhone Air battery pack. Simply because this one, I like how it works with the iPhone Air. But guess what? I've only used this for actually testing the battery pack for the video I did on this battery pack. Other than that, it just lives right here. But I have it in case because this is always closed up inside my backpack, and I have it with me and I could just take it whenever I want to go out for the day. So it's not a big deal. Both of these are going to give you great battery life, so I have no issues to complain about. Now, as you've probably seen, these devices are pretty similar in a lot of aspects, but one place where they do differ is with the speaker. And this is where it's going to really be up to you. I honestly don't have a problem with the iPhone Air speaker. Again, I've done so many different tests, but is this two speaker stereo speaker that you find on the iPhone 16e louder? Yes, it is. But is there any problem on the iPhone Air? No, there's not. Most of the times when I'm listening to the speaker is when I'm indoors, when I'm by myself, and it's just me. Whenever I'm out in public, either I'm using headphones, that's the case that it was on the 16e, that's the case it is on the iPhone Air. So again, this for me is just something that is not that big of a deal, but I'll leave it up to you to decide on which speaker sounds better. Another difference between these two devices, even though they are really similar, is their price point. This one comes in at $599 and this one comes in at $999. There's a $400 difference, and honestly, I was thinking that with the launch of the 17s that perhaps Apple's going to lower this to $499. I think that really would have made a lot of sense because like when I was previously looking to buy this, even though it was $599, it still was a great deal for me. I actually didn't mind paying that. That was not a complaint of mine. But now when I look at it stacked up against something like the iPhone 17, or if you look at it stacked up against the iPhone Air, you just get a whole different experience here. And you get a great display and a larger one, and it's really light and it's got a great camera. Like this just gives you a lot of value here for that change in price. Whereas I would say that if the iPhone Air is not the right fit for you and you have a 16e and you want to upgrade mainly because of the display and stuff, then what you could do is go for the iPhone 17 because $200 more, and now you've got all of the stuff that you get here, plus you've got like that ultra wide camera as well. So I'm going to leave that up to you to decide. I always say that it's just always important to buy a device that you can afford. So I wouldn't be looking at this and being like, oh, don't stretch it to go out and try to buy this. If you can afford it, then do I think that it makes a great upgrade from the 16e? Absolutely. Like I said, if this didn't exist, I wouldn't have even been upgrading. I wouldn't have upgraded to the 17. I wouldn't have upgraded to the 17 Pro. So the iPhone 16e still is a great device. It's just a hard choice now at the price point that it remains to be. What the other thing that you can do is that just wait for the 17e. Let's see what they do there. So maybe then you can look at 17e and iPhone Air. And because I have the iPhone Air and because I'm looking forward to the iPhone 17e, well, guess what? You will see comparisons based on my experiences. I really hope that if you're on an iPhone 16e, or maybe if you're looking at both of these devices, then this video has been helpful to you. And if it has, and if you found value in this video, just give me a thumbs up. That's all I request for you so more people can find this video. And if you have any questions, anything I left out, or anything in particular you want to ask, drop it in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And most importantly, like always, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.